Hello and welcome to another edition of After the Whistle, Wednesday, August 18th. We are here, me and Todd are here, just
hanging out, doing what we do.
Yeah, man. It's I don't know, that's just the feeling, yeah. Got some stuff. We put together some stuff for y'all. Ain't that much great things happening right now. But before we get started, so the conversation. I know I sent you that text yesterday on Facebook. Is students going to prep, staying in public schools, or whatever. And I'm always in the mindset if you're good enough, like if you're that good. You don't want to go to prep, you don't need to go to prep. Because in this day and age, as far as recruiting-wise, just in sports-wise, especially basketball, they play so many AAU games. It's like, if you go to public schools, and then you're going to have to see, when you go to AAU tournament, you're going to see the pro prospects of the guys that are good enough to go, that could go pro right out of high school. So my mindset is just like, you really don't need to unless you just want to go there for better education.
Yeah, man, it all depends on the player. Depends on the skill set of the player. It depends on where they're from, if they're getting the exposure that they're supposed to get. Because you could play AAU and not come across one top 100 player in the country. That's because you're not on that circuit. So there's a lot of variables that come into it now. Going prep, I want to say the level of education is a little higher. It's a little more challenging because I went through it. You know what I mean? Level competition's higher as well, just because for some odd reason, when you got a lot of kids come from different states and different countries, and a lot of their parents want to give them the best education possible, and those prep schools offer that as well as athletics too. So on top of athletics, it doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. But it all just depends if you're allowing yourself to get the best exposure possible, because you might not play on the top circuits AAU, but there's all type of invitational camps. There are camps that, if you're not good enough, your parents could finagle away and get you out there if they pay for it, because some camps are willing to take kids. Like, I was fortunate enough to be good enough to get invited to camps after a while, but when I was younger, they didn't have them invitational camps for the younger kids, so my parents would invest in me a little bit. So parents also, you got to invest in your kids as well. If you want them to be as good as you want them to be, you're going to have to do a little work yourself. You can't just watch from the stands and expect magic to happen. Yeah,
and also people think that if they go to prep, that's good. That's like the best thing in the world. But sometimes it's not always the best thing in the world, depending on your situation. Because someone said the grass is not always green on the other side.
Yeah, that too. Like, I'll be honest, like prep school and regular like high school. Even though I went to private high school, but it's kind of similar. You know what I mean? The public high school out here. It's like grass to almost like, I don't want to say the desert, but it's just different. Like prep school, if you're not self-sufficient, you're going to struggle in prep school because it's all on you. Yeah. Like, and most of these kids that rely on their parents like for every little thing. Your help is one thing, but when your parents wake you up, tell you when to eat, tell you where to go, tell you don't forget this, like, you're not going to survive in prep school. So you have to be more mature with prep school because you're on your own.
Yeah, it's pretty much almost like mini college. It's pretty much college.
And the thing with prep school is you got post-grad, which I was one, but I was a 17-year-old post-grad, which is crazy. But I had guys in my dorm that were 22 years old. So you're also on campus with grown men. So you might not think you're good enough, but no, you're good enough for your age. Yeah. Just right now, the school you're in, based on the competition level, you're playing against some grown men that are looking for Division I scholarships while you're just trying to get some playing time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's an interesting conversation, but there's so many people that want to bash public schools or saying that public schools don't offer nothing. But sometimes it's how are you maneuvering around public schools? Because there's plenty of people from the public school education that went on and did well for themselves, either sports or just in general other stuff. It's just how you maneuver yourself. And if you don't have the discipline to actually sit there and focus and learn, don't matter how good you are and you go to prep school or not, you might just end up another, just another person, just another guy, because you're disciplined.
And unfortunately with the public school to go on prep, public schools, some coaches don't even have the resources to reach out to get their kids looked at by certain coaches compared to these prep schools. They're well-known facilities. They're well-known facilities, organizations, whatever you want to call prep schools. They're schools. They're well-known. They develop more players. Some of these guys that work for these schools and companies went to these schools because, I told you, I went to prep school with some princesses, all type of people, like just people you wouldn't even think that you'd run into in life. So it's kind of like, prep school is kind of like a fraternity. You know what I mean? It's about who you know.
Yeah.
In public school, you say everybody you grew up with. And a lot of those people might not come across 90% of the people you come across when you go to prep school. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just all type of variables. Yeah. But as long as you have the right support system in your life, the right coaching staff that has the right access to the right resources to get you looked at, then it doesn't matter if it's prep school or because Tone's a prime example, you know what I mean? Yeah. But he's one of the few, so we can't just hang on that because most people will use him in an argument to try to dead it, and you can't because we can name many coaches that we know that can't get nobody no looks. Yeah. So, and it's not their fault. It's just they just don't have the resources. They haven't been around certain people. Yeah, and
Tone got resources from... Because he's been around.
Yeah,
he's gone places. But yeah, that's the conversation. So parents, if you're ever looking to get your kid out of public school or send him to prep school, make sure you do your research because you might think it's best for the kid and he goes there and he or she goes there and they get completely overwhelmed. And next thing you know, they're not doing as well as you thought they'd be doing because they're just so overwhelmed.
Man, if your kid ain't a dog and you want him to go to prep school for athletics, just keep him in the school you're in.
Yeah, that too. That's another thing, because like I said, in basketball, you're gonna, either you go to prep or not, if you play around, if you move around, go state to state, you're gonna run into some dogs, and you're gonna run into players that might be seen as if they could go straight to the NBA, and and if you can't do that against them, then you just gotta reevaluate everything and get back in the lab.
And as a player, you can only lie to yourself for so long until that test is right in front of your face. Parents too.
Man, there was a test yesterday for the Celtics young core. I mean, it's just for them because this is player development time and, summer league, that's what I consider summer league is player development time, just to see where they're at. And, man, it was a summer league championship game, and my goodness, the offense was non-existent for these guys. At one point, they was up 15-7, and it just everything went downhill after the first quarter. They couldn't buy a bucket.
Now is the offense or was the defense? Because Sacramento, this whole summer league, they've been called their biggest, I want to say, attribute to the court or to the game is defense. Yeah. Drafting Mitchell, he's a dog on the defensive end, and he's kind of like the catalyst to their defense. Playing the point as well. And bro, they forced 28 turnovers from the Celtics.
They had 18 steals. What?
So that just showed you, man. They playing some good defense,
man.
And for the Celtics to not score no more than they scored 30 in the first quarter and they scored no more than 20 points. It was like 16, 18.
They scored 20 in the first quarter.
20 for my bad.
And then. Yeah,
no more after.
16, 13, and 18. That's how much they were scoring the last three quarters. Like that, you understand how good the other team's defense was and how bad your offense is?
Yeah, man. One thing I say, Peyton Pritchard, he didn't play that well. He was killing all summer league, and he had a big game he plays in the pro back in Portland as well. Had like 90-something points in that. He should have held some of them for this game because they got smoked.
At least 30 of them. Like, geez, but you got to give it up to the Kings' young core for just how playing hard. Bobby Jackson had those guys playing real hard.
Yeah, man. And shout out to Louis King, man. I forgot. I didn't know where he was, so I just forgot where he was playing at. But man, shout out to him. He's doing well, man.
Yeah, definitely. And, got to give a big kudos to Bobby Jackson. He's been working his way up the coaching ranks for him to get this opportunity right here. I think I'm not sure if he's still with he's still coaching the G League team or not, or if he's on this the coaching staff now.
He's still wait and find out.
Yeah, but I know he was coaching the G League. I'm not sure if he's still doing it, but for him to just be working his way up, and his name has been ringing bells, and I think he was considered or a candidate, or people that were looking at him for a head coaching position. So this is also good for him, because Summer League, it's development for everybody: refs, coaches, players. Even guys that want to be behind the scenes, the play-by-play guys.
Everyone's getting evaluated.
Yeah,
and it's definitely dope for Bobby, just because he's a role player. That was a great role player. I remember him just going and getting buckets. He went to Minnesota, right?
He was Minnesota. He was with the Kings.
Yeah, I remember him coming from college. He was a bucket getter back then, so well deserved. You know what I mean? He paid his dues, and he's getting his looks. Yeah, and kudos to him.
Definitely. And for the Celtics, they're young guys. They got some guys that might make on the team. Hauser, I think that's how you pronounce his name, from Virginia. He showed some promise this summer league with his shooting. Also Naismith, he showed some progress too. He was knocking down shots, showing he could create for others and put the ball on the floor and all that. So the summer league was pretty exciting. It was good to watch.
And they had Zach August out there, hometown product. Yeah. Hopefully, just trying to get him a good look. You know, he was Notre Dame. So only problem with this team is a lot of their returners were the ones that were out there killing. Yeah. So a lot of the actual pros were the ones that were producing, had the ball in their hands the majority of the time. So it didn't allow some of the guys that really need the looks to really get some of those looks.
And it's gonna be hard for some of the other guards that were on this roster to make the team, because this team is so guard heavy right now. The roster's it's just top down. Whole bunch of guards, so it's going to be hard for some of those other guys to actually, even if they make the roster, to get opportunity, because they'll probably end up in Portland in the G League.
All they can do is just put their best showing out there, and then hopefully somebody else will see them.
Yeah, definitely. Also, in some Celtics news, they gave an extension to Marcus Smart. He'll be a 4-year extension. What was it, worth $77 million, I believe it was. He's $77 million. He's the longest tenured Celtic right now. Yeah. He's been here since 2013. You think he hasn't been here that long, but you just sit back, you're like, yo, he's actually been here forever. But good for him.
Yeah, I'm happy for him, man. That's another third defender they have. Yeah. He's talking about they got Richardson, who's the other player, and Schroeder. So it looks like this team might be leaning more towards the defensive focus on the side of the ball, which is good for them because they got the offense. Yeah. Now you just need to stop.
And they said he's going to play a lot more point guard this upcoming season. So I'm not sure. They might have him and Schroeder as the starting backcourt.
I'm not surprised with that move. People forget he played point guard in college. So I'm just not surprised by that. He can handle the ball. Smart man.
Definitely. And it's just rewarding him, because one thing we can say about him, he's gonna play hard every single night, no matter what the score is or what point of the game it is. He's gonna play hard the whole time, and he's the guy that gets in everyone's face, that actually demands them to actually play ball, because whenever they had their little turmoil, it's always him, the one that's telling everybody they're really messing up. So you need guys like that on that team.
Yeah, it's a team mostly made up of different personalities, kind of like gumbo. You know what I mean? Some ingredients are more beneficial than others, but they all benefit the meal itself. Yeah. So I have no problem with how he plays and how he conducts himself, because he's professional.
Yeah, So this is what happens when you do your job. They say if you do the little things, you'll always be on the court. And, so many people just look at scoring and stuff, but he can score, but his impact on the game is just he does everything else that there's two other guys need from their teammates.
Yeah, once you mature and you understand the game, then you realize that every piece is important.
Yeah, so. Congratulations to him on that. Another player that got a big extension was Joel Embiid. He got the Sixers extended him. I believe it was like $100 and some odd dollars. Big payday for him, but now we're still trying to figure out what's going to happen with Ben Simmons, because it's clear that 4 years, $196 million. And he's worth every single dollar that they're giving him, because he's proven, he's had some misfortunes injury wise, but he's shown when he's healthy and he's on his A game, it's like good luck trying to stop him because he showed that he couldn't be stopped this season because I think he missed like 10 or 11 games this season, but it was him and Joker for MVP race, but Joker just didn't miss a game and was just doing some ungodly things.
And unfortunately, that's been the biggest hamper with Embiid is staying on the court. So let's see if he could play, you know what I mean? They're going back to 82 this season, right? If he can get, you know what I mean, 75 games, that would be pretty good for him. You know what I mean?
65.
Yeah, I mean, but even that, he would have missed out because of Joker playing every game. So it's not like, I get it if most bigs are missing games and stuff, but like you got a guy like Joker who's not athletic whatsoever, whose body probably hurts just as bad as he does after games. Probably even worse because he's not athletic. You know what I mean? For him to play every game, for one, that just shows that he's reliable. Yeah. And two, like, I mean, he deserves it.
And also with the Sixers, they got a whole bunch of questions too because they got this Ben Simmons thing that they've made it clear that he's not gonna. They're trying to move him, but he's still on the team right now. And with him and Embiid, they play well together. But it's just what we just saw. What we just saw. It was just like, and if you're a teammate of his, and especially if I'm Embiid, I'm just like, what can we do? You either we make a move or you start shooting the ball or doing something because that was just. Yeah, that was a bad taste in their mouth. And it's like, everybody remembers it too. It's like fans, non-basketball watching people even talk about it and remember that. So that lasting impression of Simmons, that's bad.
I don't know what to say about that. It's either he wants to improve or he just wants to, you know what I mean, just be him, which he's not a bad player. But in order for the Sixers to get over the hump, he has to be more efficient and more effective. And you got to just shoot the ball.
Just shoot the ball. Yeah, that's it. I never met a basketball player who ain't want to shoot the ball.
Yeah, because I was going to say he's pretty efficient because he shoots a lot of dunks and layups. But like, he just has to keep the defense on their heels, and he can shoot the ball. Like it's not like he's incapable. He just doesn't for some odd reason.
It makes absolutely no sense, and especially when they gave him that big contract because they thought with him and Embiid they could get a championship. They had a chance to get a championship. But, yeah, they squandered that opportunity. And, you know, it's so hard to win in the NBA because when you get to a certain age, your window just starts closing and closing and closing. So Embiid is 27 now, so he's probably saying, especially with his injuries too, so he's probably saying, man, my window is starting to close and I need to get this championship. And it's not looking like we're going to get it with Simmons on the roster.
I mean, especially just, like I said, his skill set. If he could shoot the ball, people wouldn't be worrying about that. He's 27 years old. Mm-hmm. We're talking about Simmons, right?
No, Embiid. Embiid's 27.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Embiid, he don't know how long his body's going to hold up. That's how I think. I was going to say Simmons is a little different. He's a little younger. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, man, Embiid has to do what's best for him. And if after these 4 years things don't change that much, I'll get out of there or I'll leave at the 2.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can see they leave after 1. You know, and sports now is crazy. You can sign a long-term contract, but once you feel like, I don't want to be here no more, you can just force your way out. And teams are obliging nowadays because they didn't used to do that before.
Yeah, because I'm glad now. I feel like now people are looking at it more as a coworker. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Co-working relationship rather than an ownership thing. Like, you got the title of owner, but like you don't personally own this man. You know what I mean? He's just, you know what I mean, employee. So people are respecting people more in their choices and realizing that there are a million players out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They come every year. You got to draft for a reason. So it's all about just development guys. You just getting guys that are the right fit for your team organizations.
Yeah, definitely. That's all the NBA stuff we got for you. Some of these over. So let's go into a little bit of preseason football. It's not the most entertaining time, but you know we'll talk a little bit about some preseason football. The Pats went out there last week. First preseason game last Thursday. Got a nice win over the Washington football team. Cam played a couple series. Mac Jones played a couple series. You know, he played a little longer. I think he had like 15 or 19 passing attempts and stuff. He he looked comfortable out there. It was a little nervous, but he looked comfortable out there.
Hold up. That's really their name?
The Washington football team. Right now, they're...
Bro, it's like year 3. They haven't figured it out. That whole time you were saying all that to me, I heard all that, but I'm still stuck on it. It's still the Washington football team. You mean this country is that racist that they can't figure out a better name than the Redskins?
I've read that they have a top 3 for their names, but I have no idea when they're gonna reveal what in the world the name of that.
But back to Mac Jones. Back to Mr. Jones. First, we're gonna talk about Cam because he's our guy. Cam went 4 for 7, 49 yards. You know what I mean? 7 yards per pass, pretty good.
Yeah.
And Mac Jones, he did his thing out there, which is looking well. Can't be getting sacked in preseason, but it's all right. I mean, you got guys fighting for jobs, so I'm sure they
protect that offensive line. They need to.
They try to cover your neck, but there's no reason why us, the Patriots, should be having our quarterback sacked.
In
preseason, not at all.
Yeah, the offensive line. This is gonna be a question all year. Yeah. But the brightest star was Stevenson.
Yeah, it was.
The running game. He had a nice game. 2 touchdowns. Broke that long 95-yard touchdown late in the fourth quarter. I think that this team it probably gonna be pound the rock again this season.
Well, to be honest, the past 5-6 years, they've been getting some decent running backs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every go around, either draft one or they trade for one. That's pretty solid. So this might be Stevenson's go. And if they could keep the offense balanced like we talk about all the time, what I mean? Cam can be efficient. And if Cam's not playing well, if Jones could be efficient. And then, the run game effective, then we should be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think there's going to be we might see the same thing we saw last year where they were a run-heavy team. But now with the 2 tight ends they got, the play action could be very, very, very effective to complement the running game because those two tight ends they could be lined up as receivers or inside, and they got some of the young receivers too. They got some time. This is gonna be an interesting team. This is gonna be an interesting team to watch.
Definitely. Yeah. I think they probably have to just go back to playing old school football.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, your best players were your running backs, and they were the workhorses. And granted, your pretty boys were the quarterback. They got all the praise, but we all know who the dogs were.
Yeah.
Like talking about the Emmitt Smiths. That's honestly, I'm just gonna say him just because they got 3 back to back. I mean, 3P. So it was 3P, right? Oh, it was 3 out of 4.
There was 3 out of 4.
All right, well, 3 out of 4, which is pretty good. Yeah. So, and he's a Hall of Famer. Just use him as a prime example. So it was not a bad look for us because remember, the culture had to change. The culture had to change for the Patriots now, and we can't go back to old Patriots football because we don't have those tools anymore.
Yeah, definitely. And it was like a year of when you change it, sometimes it takes a little while to get things going back to what they used to be. So you just have to retool, refine some things. But yeah, looking at their running back depth chart, Sony Michel, Damian Harris, they brought back Brandon Bolden, J.J. Taylor, Ramondre Stevenson. But those three guys I mentioned, Sony Michel, Damian Harris, and James White, that's a... Granted, if some of those other guys make the roster, but that's quite the group of running backs you could come switch and change it because they all have different running styles.
Yeah, man, just hopefully they all stay healthy. That's the biggest thing with us.
Yeah. Hopefully nobody gets COVID. No, knock on wood. All right. In other NFL news, the Seattle Seahawks gave Jamal Adams a big old contract, making him the highest paid safety for now because every year there's a new highest paid safety. So this guy, everything worked in his favor. Forced his way out of New York to not play with the Jets no more. Went to Seattle. He was hurt last year for a few games, but bet on himself. The Seahawks clearly like him and what he does for their defense and give him this big contract. And I'm always glad when things work out for certain guys after they were in a situation that they were not too pleased with.
Yeah, man, this is definitely a good story for the NFL. I mean, for NFL, because they're known for keeping some players captive. Unfortunately, so I'm happy for him.
And playing in New York for the Jets, that'll give you some PTSD.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say too, nobody want to play for the Jets.
Seattle got some things to work out too because they still haven't addressed their offensive line issues. You know, that was one thing Russell Wilson was complaining about during the offseason when people thought he was going to get traded, and that didn't happen. One of his biggest things was then he needs to be better protected. So if I'm him, I'm like, I'm happy you got your money, Jamal Adams. And then I just look at ownership like, all right, guys, what are we going to do about this offensive line situation? Because y'all just gave the safety the money. Can we get some money to get some offensive line in here?
Or he can just start shopping shopping for new teams, man. It might be around that time, the next couple of years for Russell, unless they're going to make him the guy for his career.
Yes, I don't think he'll do that. he's too good.
No, that's what I'm saying, though. But it's like you can't just keep, you know what I mean, going same result, and then they're not trying to benefit. Not trying to better things.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if he did that, watch Seahawks and Wilson have agreed to a new contract with a little more money, because that's usually what happens.
Hint.
Because you know how hard it is once you lose a franchise quarterback. Trying to replace a franchise quarterback, that's one of the hardest things in the world.
You might just gotta do what I do and just be a little brash and just say F it and go in there and just speak his mind one time. It'll work. Especially he doesn't seem like the type to really do that, so I guarantee you, if he does it one time, they'll really listen to him.
He seems like he wants to have a nice conversation about it. And,
flip the whole script on him.
Let's work it out. He ain't going in there like Ice Cube with bats and stuff to to break stuff in the office building. So.
Hey.
Oh well. And also in other NFL news, to no surprise to me, Tim Tebow was cut by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, most people saw this coming. They knew this was not a good idea. They knew it was a terrible idea. First, you're having a quarterback, try to be a tight end, and then try to have him block. And I'm pretty sure the last time he probably blocked was in high school or something like that, because it just, You saw the video?
Yeah, I saw the video. I laughed. I wasn't surprised he got cut. Like, people were making it, like, we had the episode months ago about him getting the look. Like, I didn't care about him getting an opportunity. I said it. Like, he's a great guy. Probably built some good relationships. I've heard numerous other people on ESPN say the same thing. And we knew he was going to get cut. Like, that's why it's one of them things, like, why y'all getting that mad about this? He's not going to be around for long, and you see what happens. Like, you support it, and then it's like, it's not going nowhere.
Yeah. It was just hilarious, because it was just, everybody was just like, this is just a waste of everyone's time, because we know what the end result was going to be. And then it was just like, my thing is, Urban Meyer, if you really wanted him around that much, why don't you just bring him on, like,
as a coach?
Yeah. Or just on the staff.
But in all reality, it was only wasting the time of Urban Meyer and the Jaguars.
Oh, yeah.
People who are dumb enough to focus on this decision, that's their fault. Nobody told y'all to, sit there and focus on this story. You didn't have to make this a story. There were other things in the NFL you could have made a story, other things in sports you could have made a story, but that's your fault.
Well, it was true. Urban Meyer, once again, man, he's glad he made this move, because I'm not the biggest Urban Meyer fan, because I think he's a trash human being, and some of the stuff he's been doing with the Jaguars since he got there just got me raising my eyebrows. So, like, he did something, but it's just like, you just did it to save face, like, just so people, like, you're not gonna have him on the final roster because he was your former player and y'all are still close.
I'll be honest, some of these people got some of these jobs because they are friends of some people's former colleagues and vice versa, and you know what I mean? So honestly, man, I could care less about the whole situation. I wouldn't even have made this a story in our reality. I just would have let Urban Meyer do what he do and let Tim Tebow embarrass himself on national television, play in a position he got no business playing against these men who are wildebeest, and then let it just, you know what I mean, the proof right there.
Yeah, that tight end too, man. It was to have him in one of the to tight end, like that's the get it in the mud position.
It's like all news don't got to be a story.
Yeah,
because got more important things to worry about. Tim Tebow should not be something we're worrying about still.
That's that Tebow mania. All right, Let's go to No Huddle with Craig. Fantasy football drafts are coming up, so Craig has some advice for all you folks that got leagues coming up, that you got drafts coming up. I know I got mine's coming up in a couple weeks. I still haven't paid for it yet, but yeah. Check this out, and we're gonna come back. All right, and we are back. Thank you, Craig, for that. Yeah, my league. So the last couple of years of fantasy league football has been terrible for me. I lost in the first round last year. I ain't make the playoffs the previous 2 years. 1 year, I got close, lost right before the championship game. And there's certain players I blame for that because they got hurt. Last year, all my running backs literally got hurt. Done for the season.
I'm laughing when the camera got put on me because he knows I don't play fantasy whatsoever. So I'm like, yeah.
Man. Yeah, I have the worst of luck with running backs. Literally all my running backs torn ACL.
Well, I don't know, man. That's a rough one.
Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it. Hopefully this year is different, but probably not. All right. Let It Fly Classic that happened over the weekend in Chelsea. I was there. A lot of great basketball that was being played. You know, Lynn team. Yeah, Lynn team won it, of course, you know, because that's what we do. Check this out. Let It Fly. Fans gathered inside Chelsea High's gymnasium on Saturday for the 6th annual Let It Fly Basketball Classic.
Everybody was happy to be back here, you know, bringing the community together, all different communities. We had people from Worcester, Brockton, Lynn, Boston, you name it. Everybody was here.
Cesar Castro began this annual tournament in 2015 after seeing a lack of basketball tournaments in Chelsea.
I played basketball, yeah. I grew up playing basketball. It's that there was no tournaments in Chelsea. I always had to go out to the city, Boston, Brockton, Lynn, you name it, to go play in a tournament and go hoop somewhere, to play against the best of the best. So that's why I was like, I'm gonna bring all these kids to the city of Chelsea to hoop and have this tournament and have everybody come out and have a great time.
The Classic has turned into a reunion for many, as well as a symbol of community unity.
There's people I haven't seen in months, years even, and they all come out just for this, you know. It's pretty much stamped, you know. Every second Saturday of August, they know it's gonna be the Let It Fly Classic, and then everybody else doing tournaments and doing a great job too. And it's just all, at the end of the day, it's just about bringing people together, have a great time, and just enjoy life, you know.
Castro hopes college coaches in the area take notice of the talent pool in Massachusetts.
All these local schools and stuff like that, like BC, Boston College, like they got to start recruiting these guys, these local guys. They got a bunch of people who can go right down the street, and they got to pick it up and try to recruit these guys. You know?
For players who participate in the Classic, if you don't bring your A game, you will end up being embarrassed.
You have to really, really be ready to play in this type of environment, you know, because Let It Fly is not for everyone, but everybody who came out today, I hope they had a great time.
And we are back. Yeah, that was a great tournament. A lot of exciting basketball. We had one game go to double overtime, another game go to triple overtime,
Ooh.
and we had some altercations in between players and fans and all that good stuff. But overall, it was good, and the food was bomb too. They brought some soul food out there, which was very, very, very delicious.
Yeah, shout out to Caesar and everybody involved, Kyle and them.
Yes, sir.
Cool peoples, man.
Caesar, 1,000-point scorer.
Yep.
Over there at Chelsea High. So yeah, it was great. We got some more highlights from there. First, before that, there was some players in there, man, that really put on a show. Warren, every time I've seen him in these tournaments, he becomes a crowd favorite.
As you should.
Yeah.
As you should.
Yeah. One of the guys that's with Toll now at Springfield Commonwealth, Makai Diedrich. Remember I told you about? Mm-hmm. He had multiple 50-point games at Boston English. That kid, he can go. He was over there getting bucket. And then Curtis Henderson, he's going to University of Hartford. Them kids, they was showing out. Yeah. And then kids from Lynn showed out. Jason, tall, with the dreads.
I gotta see faces, man.
Blackity black.
There's mad kids, bro. So many kids out here.
Yeah, that was going. that was going on. But check out all these consecutive highlights from the Classic.
I always knew it was gonna take some time. I was gonna bounce back.
Pick up my phone, the money talk to me. Hand to hand with gloves and masks like it's a robbery. Cut the work for better profiting, not a probably. Plot on digits and property. Thinking I rely on rap, man, you must be stupid. I do it still, cause in my city I'm the best to do it. The most influence, I got dreams to see 100 mil. Ain't make it, but you can tell that I'm getting money still. Let's keep it real, all the shit. If he ain't spend it all on sipping lean and popping pills, copping fits just to take a pic and sleep in it. I be in the same hood as West till week finish. I mean business, quarantine had me tripping, smoke sleep, thinking my decisions, evaluate my living, what I've done and everything I didn't. Come sit at the table, eat with me if you really get it. Pasta farfalle with the Louis chicken. We sipping my ties, cause when I'm off the drink, I get in my feelings. Wi-Fi, I knew I lost connection, cause I'm usually chilling. Can't do suicide, I get high, we need to lead the earth. Never down for long, they always need it when it hits the first. Straw over aluminum foil, watch him hit the perk. Lines from the lighter resin slide until it's fully burned. He don't like the pop or the sniff, so he feel it faster. Said he gon' quit, he relapsed, then he called me after. Can't move how I used to, people rap my tunes. Pick up the paper and the first thing they see is you. Was amused, I ain't have a clue, till I realized why. Tommy ain't want ghosts in the news, it's the truth. Wasn't feeling like myself, I still made it work. I was tweaking, tried to leave my shorty, I was at my worst, I was hurt. She keep it real with me the moment that I'm feeling cursed. It don't last when this happens to you, always come out first. Knew it was true, cause Pop said the same. Carrying the world for so long gives you muscle strains. Plus my mama says she's sick, and I feel a pain. Just as bad as we need Barack back, I'ma need a change. And I thought it would happen when I caught the chain. That just made it easy to spot me, if you know the name. Accessories that came along when you play the game. Got 'em looking at it like stars that are in a rave.
Damn, kids just we back. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, because kids want to listen because they kept saying off the court, off the baseline, and yeah. Next one. Oh yeah, yeah. It was. Yeah. I was like, man, like there's a game going on, and yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I'ma live forever. Listen. I swear you niggas been afraid. Revenge is sweet like lemonade. Hop on the beat in and I skate like Wayne Gretzky or Wayne. You with me or you in the way. If you a game, you get a play. I spit the shit that switch your face, bitch. I can blow like any day. I can't wait for what's in store. I'm on a search for something more. Ain't level whore, cause she gon' let my brother score. Underdogs say fuck all. When I was down, the one would call. Can get you done with just a call. Don't fuck with me, won't fuck with y'all. These haters trying to weigh me down, instead they take a bow. Ain't no way around, I got the crown, they wanna take me out. And it's all for clout, most these rappers claiming that they hot. You niggas worry about a list, I'm trying to take it to the top. Let's get it. You too worry about a you politicking with the thoughts. I'm probably swerving with my clique, come get with us and you can shop. I'm aiming at your top like Kennedy, remember me. Keep that same energy, don't forget what you said to me. I can never die because my music is my legacy. 100 years from now, to play my music while I rest in peace. I can never let it be, I'm shitting on my enemies. For all them days they say I couldn't do it, I'ma let them see. Yeah, if it's do or die, we gon' let it fly. Nigga, I'ma go for mine, I'ma go for mine. I put my soul in this music, I can never die. I can never die, I can never die. If it's do or die, we gon' let it fly. I'ma go for mine, I'ma go for mine. I put my soul in this music, I can never die. I can never die, I can never die. I am legend of hood reverend. I know where I'm headed, get in my way, get beheaded. Your bitch got a fetish for niggas who getting lettuce. So she tried to come and fuck with the team, but she got rejected. We don't gotta spend money on hoes to get the net quick. She slurped me like some Nesquik, then it's off to get a check quick. They don't want no smoke cause they don't got enough leverage. Even if they did, that shit a death wish. Remember niggas talking down on me, they ain't see what I was blessed with. I'm an entertainer like I'm Cedric. These niggas don't know the pain, I hold the flame. Niggas gon' know my name, never slack. City on my back, I got shoulder pains, never fall. I've been through it all, I can show you things. All my bros are bang, I don't even know a lane. For real. Heard that boy was hating, I don't even know his name. That shit make me go the hardest, we can never glow the same. If it's do or die, we gon' let it fly. I'ma go for mine, I'ma go for mine. Hey, I know what to do with them racks. Stack it up and I go get the back in. Most of my trap, so I got what you need if you asking. I done got stabbed in the back, so I only got brothers, I really don't have friends. I was broke when I really ain't had it. Going back, I could only imagine. So I got no time to waste, and I got no time to wait. I ain't worried about this, I'm trying to go get it, so I got no time to hate. I gotta get high today, I'm stressing all kind of ways. Cause when I was down, you wasn't around, my nigga, you kinda late. If you only knew what's on my mind, I can't lie, yeah. I feel like I'm crazy all the time, I can't lie, yeah. Going through some shit, but I don't cry, I get high, yeah. I'm trying to put my feelings to the side, so I grind, yeah. If you only knew what's on my mind, I can't lie, yeah. I feel like I'm crazy all the time, I can't lie, yeah. Going through some shit, but I don't cry, I get high, yeah. I'm trying to put my feelings to the side, so I grind, like yeah. That? Why is you moving like that? I thought you were solid, now you a problem, you cannot move with the pack. This ain't a game, so you cannot pause it. I'm in the bank, making deposits, pull up with gang, we get it pop. You can't stop me. I'm in beast mode. Beast mode. Beast mode. Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. I be flowing like water. I put the dick in your daughter. This is a slaughter. You got no shit you can offer. Heard you knew in this garbage. Better pay homage. I do this shit. No option, never step foot in no college. I need a profit, my shooter pull up with armor. He got the clips like a barber, he with the nonsense. She sucking me sloppy, I don't like that girl, she a thotty, yeah. I'm at a party, I ain't hip and she went through the posse, yeah. I got that drip on my body, and I swear these niggas gon' copy, yeah. It's a hobby, and I swear I got too many hobbies, yeah. I treat that bitch cool, she got no topic, she giving me roof. Everyone trying to get fooled, but niggas mad, they hate when it's you. You say you better than who? I'm doing damage no weapon can do. I'ma go step in the booth. I'm cooking, I'm a chef in the stew. Yeah, shorty got ass, so I wanna hit it. She get this and then I go missing. She told me she love me, I told her she tripping. Can't just cause I'm on a mission. I need the cash, so I'ma go get it.
Pablo, you crazy for this one.
It's Jux.
Look at these diamonds, they dripping on me. Shorty keep crying, I'm all that she need. Don't pass the blunt, there's no hating for free. Bam, the plug and I got what you need. Don't play it safe, I got Jeezy on gold. Coachella, killers my walls. Fendi my fit, you can see head to toe. Warrior foreign, I'm driving it slow. They tell me stay down cause they care about the blow. We don't do random, just Instagram. You niggas to the paper, I'm letting it go. Knock myself down, now I'm back on the road. I'm back on the road. Lot of shit built up, man. Yeah, I'm letting it go. Yeah, I'm trying to keep an open mind. Yeah, I'm trying to manage all my time. Say I'm trying to keep a stronger spine. Say I'm trying to get myself in line. Yeah. I'm just trying to keep an open mind. Yeah. I'm just trying to manage all my time. Yeah. Say I'm trying to keep a stronger spine. Man. Say I'm trying to get myself in line. Is this for real, baby? You know I ride for you. You know I cry for you. You know I lie for you. Is this for real, baby? You know I'm here for you. Stick right beside of you. You know I die for you. Is this for real, baby? I know. Is this for real? Is this for real? Is this for real? She knows I know. An open mind is how I feel. I know. She knows I know. I know. She knows I know.
Hopped up on the fly, LAX with the vibe. Shorty said I ain't that guy. Got the dripping, yeah, I'm fly. Shorty said she watching me, now she acting like a spy. Tiffany is what she want for her, what we put in sport. Baby, tell me what you asking. Let her way I'm flexing. 4-letter chain, see the diamonds in my necklace. Alexander Wang had her wearing every Yandi. Cartier frame had me scoping out how I wonder if you like me. LA with the vibes.
All right, NBA Summer League Top 10, and then we'll be right back. All right, and we have come to an end. Lastly, before we get out of here, Pacquiao is fighting this Saturday. His opponent, guy whose name I can't pronounce, but his previous opponent got hurt. So this is the fight that the boxers get, even though this isn't the fight they wanted, but this is what they got to deal with on Saturday.
Looks like you're a dentist. Well, looks like. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, his name's right on the side too.
Yeah, that's what I read.
You're a dentist. Yeah. So this is the fight. This is the fight that's gonna happen this Saturday. Sad that it's not what people wanted, but I don't know. Maybe they'll do it when he's 43. We'll see. But that's all we got for you today. Yeah, that's all we got for you today. I'm out of words. I'm hungry. So we'll catch you guys. We'll catch you guys next week.